Well, the Browns are getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals, Mary Kay, but nobody is talking about the Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals because, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. is on the front of everyone's mind. His dad posted a video on Instagram on Tuesday. All hell broke loose, to put it simply. And so today the Browns excused Odell Beckham, is one way to put it, excused him from practice. He was not in the building. He did not. They told him not to come in this morning. And now we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next. So let's just go there. How do you think this plays out over the next few days?
Well, Dan, I've actually been told that Odell Beckham Jr. has basically played his last ball for the Cleveland Browns. What's going on right now is an effort to just try to figure out how to end it. And there are so many things to consider, because if they just waive him and let him go and he clears waivers, he could go sign with the Ravens or the Raiders or the Chiefs. And they certainly don't want him coming back and haunting them. Now, of course, he wants to be released. The Browns don't even have to release him. They could hang on to him and not let him go play with anybody for the rest of the season. So that's another option. Keep him on the roster and Deshaun Watson him, right? Just let him hang around, pay him the $8 million, and then he goes off into the sunset after the season is over. So there are some options. Those are two of them. But I actually do have one other path forward. So we'll talk about that.
Okay, I mean, let's just do it now. What is that other path?
I think that there is one chance where this thing could be smoothed over, and that is Odell Beckham Jr. gets in a room with Kevin Stefanski, with the Cleveland Browns, with Andrew Berry, first of all, and then he talks to Baker Mayfield, and he says, look, I want to be here. That was my dad. That was not me. And I just kind of put my head in the sand all day. I didn't want to be a part of it. I turned off all my social media, and I just needed to decompress. I'm sorry about all that. I don't know where it all came from, and I would like to help this team get to the playoffs. I feel horrible about all this. Let's move forward. I think Baker Mayfield is tough-minded enough that if everybody agrees that that is the best way to go, I think Baker can handle it. I mean, we've heard from Alex Van Pelt. He's one of the toughest-minded players he's ever been around. So, I don't think it's going to happen that way, but there's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, look, Baker did not slam the door today. I thought Kevin Stefanski was a lot more definitive today than Baker Mayfield was, because Baker did not slam the door. He said he would basically do anything to win. I felt like Kevin Stefanski was a lot more, he didn't bring the hammer down, but I thought he was a lot more like, Odell's not here. Andrew Berry is talking to his representatives. It feels like maybe Stefanski might see this as a chance where he sort of has to bring the hammer down and say, we're not going to put up with this stuff.
Well, he has to set the tone. He is the head coach of this football team. And as he mentioned, these guys are fighting for their playoff lives right now, or fighting to go and get out of this 4-4, 500 thing that they're in right now. So he has to set the tone, and he's mad. I mean, he should be mad. This is a distraction for his football team when they are at a crossroads of the season. So for him to kind of take one for the team, I thought that struck the right note. And then, as you mentioned, Baker left the door open here and there. I thought he said, all the right things about, if Odell apologized. I think that was one of the biggest things in my mind, is the fact that Odell has not reached out to Baker. He hasn't reached out to Baker since this all went down. But the day is still young, Dan. A lot can happen between now and tomorrow.
Hasn't reached out to Baker, and also, at least when we talked to Kevin before practice, had not spoken to Kevin Stefanski either, which I also think is very telling. Well, this story is going to keep evolving. It's going to keep changing. We're going to hear from more people, of course, on Thursday, and who knows, Mary Kay, what's going to happen between now and then. But whatever it is, we will cover all of it at cleveland.com/Browns.